So we've reached the final weekend of the FIFA World Cup 2026. Today is destination Miami for the third place playoff between France and England. Both teams hoping to bounce back from semi-final disappointments. France beaten by Spain 2-0, while England led against Argentina before another famous comeback from Lionel Scaloni's men to put them in the final, where they will face Spain on Sunday at 3 p.m. in New York, New Jersey. As we welcome you into the Golazo Matchday 48 Nations studio. Adam Hunt here with Troy Deeney, Michael Lahoud and Chris Wittyngham. A big hello to everyone watching live on YouTube. Do send in your questions and comments. So we've got to the third place playoff match, shall we? This could have been the final, couldn't it, Troy? What are both of these teams going to have to sort of put to one side and focus on in today's game?
I think for France it's a case of making everyone remember that was just a bad game, because before the Spain game everyone was talking about these are the favourites, talking about is this the biggest and best team ever in the history of the French national team. So they need a real good performance to be able to go, that was a bad day at the office. If not, it promotes questions. I think also Deschamps deserves it for what he's done over the time. Obviously, this is going to be his last game. And then from an England perspective, I've just looked at the team sheet. I'm not going to give it away just yet. I've put weird is all I've put. Straight weirdest lineup I've ever seen. And it actually provokes more questions than it does answers to anything that I'm thinking.
Well, let's do the lineup, shall we? We'll start with France. Witty, you were focusing on this one, and I mean they've rolled out pretty much all of the old favourites, haven't they?
Yeah, the one that I'm surprised isn't in the starting 11 is N'Golo Kante, just because if this is kind of a send-off game, maybe he'll come on in the second half. But you do see quite a few changes. You see Konate, you see Gusto, even Theo Hernandez wasn't favoured by the end of the tournament. It was a lot of Luca Digne, who had a bit of a shocker in that semi-final. And then in midfield, Zaire Emery comes in, Cherki, who we haven't seen in from the start, and then that Doué-Barcola position has flipped quite a bit. But we see Mbappe, we see Olise in the starting 11, Mbappe the joint leading goal scorer in the tournament, and Olise the leading assister in the tournament. So perhaps a bit of stat padding is on the cards for the two of them today.
I'm surprised Luca Digne is still in the Northern Hemisphere after that.
He might be in Paris as we act now. He's with the team.
Talking of stat padding, obviously a lot of focus on Mbappe today. Some people feeling that maybe this shouldn't be a game because he's able to add to his total in terms of number of goals scored at a World Cup. But from a neutral perspective, it's always great to see him operating in any game at this stage.
Yeah, it's a great point, Adam. But I think there's more sentimental nature of why Kylian Mbappe is playing in this match. And coming into the match, he had an Instagram post that was the biggest one I've ever seen. And the entirety of the post was just paying respect to Didier Deschamps. And Kylian Mbappe owes a lot to Didier Deschamps. Didier Deschamps owes a lot to Kylian Mbappe. But there's just this synergy between Mbappe and Deschamps that when you think of the successes of Les Bleus and the French national team as of late, they go hand in hand. So I'm stoked that he's playing in the match today. And we might just see just kind of a reminiscing back to Just Fontaine today, where he was pissed off they didn't make the final, and then he went and scored maybe like 5 goals in a third place match and took his vengeance out of what didn't happen against Spain on this England side. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the mentality from Mbappe today.
Okay, let's have a look at the weird England lineup. Troy, you might as well take it away.
Take it away. Happily. Changing goal, Henderson going in, Pickford coming out. Surprisingly, because he's been okay, Jordan Pickford. Again, I'm not his biggest fan, but you know, it is what it is. Kwanzaa coming back in at right back, so again, still no Chalobah in the team, so why we brought him, I have no idea. Konza Gehi back in the middle. Spence, who's actually done really well in the last 2 games. Declan Rice, who's come off in a lot of the games because he's injured and ill, is now starting again, which is weird. Why not have the younger, fresher Anderson there? Saka, who couldn't play in the last game because he wasn't fit, is now starting in a third, fourth place game. Eze going into the middle, Rodgers, which basically means to me they're going to go with Rice as the 6, 2 8s in Rodgers and Eze, with Rashford on the left, who hasn't saw the pitch in the last couple of games. Not sure why. And then Ivan Toney gets his start, which is great for Ivan, obviously a friend of mine. But again, if we're talking about stat padding for Mbappe, shouldn't Harry Kane and Bellingham be going for it? Because they're only 1 goal behind, both on 6. And they have the opportunity to break an English record and be the first people ever to score 7 in a World Cup. Yeah. So I'm not sure why they're not there. Strange team, strange lineup. we're going for it now. The's no pressure on it. Is that not the most England thing to do?
Strange game.
It is.
We might as well try and win this one. And I think that lineup sort of leads us on to the conversation which we need to have is, what is the point in this game? There have been some very vocal people around football who've said that there shouldn't really be a third, fourth place playoff. If you lose in the semi-finals, you go home. And if you get through to the final, you play in the final. What's your view on this game?
Yeah, I'm kind of a bit tepid on it. I'll watch it just because I love the World Cup and I'll watch any game that's on during the World Cup. But I don't necessarily think that it's a bad thing. I do think that for the course of history, you say this team finished third and this team finished fourth at the World Cup. But I think for these players, you mentioned sort of how difficult this would have been for France to lose that semifinal to Spain. They got roundly outplayed. For England, it has been nothing but a vitriolic reaction for 72 hours. There is no joy, no desire to play in this game. And for the most part, because we're talking about World Cup semifinalists, these players are off the back of an incredibly long season. They've played a ton of games, and a ton of games now for 6 years. Ever since the COVID pandemic, we've been playing this condensed schedule. And now you're having them play a third place match in Miami at 5 o'clock. It's going to be, feels like 104 degrees during the game. It just kind of feels like, why are we doing this? But I think it is a little bit for the history.
But do you think, both of you, I'm going to ask this question, do you think there would have been players, Lahoud, that would have maybe been making machinations towards the manager that they don't want to play because of pre-season coming up and we know how long the season is, or is that not their place?
Yeah, look, one of the players already has come out, Ibou Konate, who's starting for Le Bleu. He's come out and said this is a meaningless game. There's a lot of players in our camp that don't want to even play this game, but it goes back to them. They're playing for something different. I don't think, and I still stand by this, maybe Kylian Mbappe because of the record, but I don't think we'd be seeing Michael Olise playing in a game like this, given some of the rumors that are out about where he might end up at the end of this summer. I don't think we'd be seeing as strong of a France side as we're seeing if it wasn't for Deschamps' final match in charge of France. I'm going to put myself out there. I think, depending on who you are, if you're a European team, if you're an established power, it's a meaningless game. But try telling that to a Morocco. Try telling that to an African team. Try telling that to a developing nation who this is an opportunity for them to continue to be on the rise. So we saw Morocco take this third place match very seriously in Qatar. And so I think it depends who you are and where you are in the established table.
I agree with the point to Morocco. I disagree because it's a massive game for both of these because France were the favourites throughout this tournament. I know it started with Spain, but from the first game, it was all France. They've got Zidane coming in after this. So, Mbappe, do you know if Zidane's going to give you the keys to the castle like Deschamps was? Prove it. And again, not with the stats, prove it on the pitch because that's what Zidane looks at. There's a younger team now in Zaire Emery who's coming in because it could be the N'Golo Kante send-off, but actually we handed over the reins and we've seen a change in the guard here with Zaire Emery, Cherki coming into the team because they're going to be available and right in the peak of their powers in the next World Cup. For England, it's huge. Back home, the people are screaming, they're so angry with Thomas Tuchel. They want him gone because he came in, and this is my take and from what I've been hearing is, you've been lied to. You told us attacking, front-footed football that we haven't seen. We haven't seen that. And then when we go out, he's told people who watched it, no, that was the best performance we put in all the time. So now there's a massive clamour for people to hold on, you're a fraud. Why are you the guy here? That's
But do you think that a result in the third place game would change minds?
No, but a result against France does. Doesn't matter if it's the third game, because our problem is, and this is another thing that he said yesterday in his pre-game interview, was that we are not far away from those top teams. Argentina, France, Spain. Argentina, if you watch the game, battered us. That could have been 4-1, 5-1, and no one could have said anything. Hit the post twice, some good saves from Jordan Pickford, so that could have been a 5-1. Let's see today. Because if they beat you 5-0, then what?
Given all the discussion about his future, has he taken a risk by picking the team that he's picked, do you think, Witty?
I don't think so, just because I understand what you're saying, just in terms of you're playing high-level opposition, and ultimately England can only really measure themselves against the highest-level opposition. So I think the Nations League, actually, in September, is probably even a more important game than this. You're playing a competitive game against a team like Spain. But I think people have formed their opinion about what Thomas Tuchel did at this tournament already, and I don't massively think that'll change based off the player selections that he makes today. If he brings on Kane or brings on Bellingham to score some goals, that feels good, but I think ultimately that cake is baked on this one.
Do you not think then, for example, a more attacking lineup that even if they lose but shows front-footedness, willingness?
I think it's more how they play than the lineup that
Exactly, but that's what I'm saying. So they've gone with one sitter and two 8s or 2 10s, depending how you want to put it. That then undoes all of the work that you've done in the World Cup. So it's a huge. Everything he does today is a risk. Everything he does today. So you either have to go with a completely different 11 and say, I'm just giving the guys a game, let them do what they want to do. It's been a long summer for everyone. Or go with your strongest team and say, this is what we're going to do moving forward. The fact that he's changed it, if Eze has a fantastic game, if Ivan Toney scores 2 or 3, there's so many questions. If Saka now starts taking his winger on and crossing, there's so many questions that get labelled at his door that it actually is a much bigger game than people are giving it credit.
I think that there's one club that sees this lineup and is panicking. And that's Arsenal. If you're an Arsenal fan, if you're Mikel Arteta, you've just turned the TV off and you're walking outside, walking your dog. And this, I'm being serious. You've already lost William Saliba. We don't know how long it is. Reports are saying one thing, but we're not doctors in here. And if it's up to 5 months, that's a massive, massive blow. I hope something doesn't happen today. Because if you're Thomas Tuchel and say anything happens to these Arsenal players, I'm looking at Bukayo Saka, I'm looking at Declan Rice, there's going to be some hell to pay, not just from England fans, but Arsenal fans.
Yeah, he's going to be hoping that all of those come out in cotton wool, don't they, for this game against France. Time for a short break here on Golazo Matchday 48 Nations. We'll talk a bit more about Thomas Tuchel's future as England manager next.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me.
Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events.
It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days. But the entire nation is hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion!
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
If I look crazy, it's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in 2 worlds.
There are others, but they're not like us. We need to get out of here now. Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And relive the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
I lost my dad in my camp.
What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money.
What's the point of here?
Gonna blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman, All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
Welcome back to Golazo Matchday 48 Nations. England going into this game on the back of a heartbreaking 2-1 defeat against Argentina in Atlanta on Wednesday. That was the Three Lions' first defeat of the tournament. The only other game they failed to win, as you can see there, was that 0-0 draw against Ghana in the group stage. Here's what Thomas Tuchel said after the game against Argentina about whether or not he regrets any of his decisions in that game.
If you're asking if I regret my decision, if this is the question, then say no, I don't regret my decisions, because I felt that we become too passive. I felt that we the momentum switches in the match, and I tried to help my team. I tried to support. I took a decision, I took several decisions, trusting my instinct, my intuition, my experience, trusting my competitiveness, and I took the decision in order to help the team and get the result. We didn't get the result, so I take, of course, the responsibility for these decisions, but the decisions are made under stress, the decisions are made in-game. This is in-game live coaching. I would regret if I didn't help. I would regret if we didn't react. But I have no regrets over the decision itself.
Troy, you've played the game, you've coached the game. If you were in Tuchel's position and that had happened and you were the manager, how would you have reflected on the decisions you'd made?
Look, I totally appreciate what he's saying there in terms of, like, it's done under stress. We are the best coaches, so are all of the people that watch, so the co-commentators, when you've got no skin in the game. It's easy. Oh, just do that, or I would just do this. Heat of the battle right there and then, looking at it at eye level, which is a really different thing as opposed to being up in the stand. But I think ultimately his ego is getting in the way right now, because he's not gauging the temperature of what the British fans or media are getting, which is, when he's saying that we've been passive, you've been saying that since the first game. Since Croatia, we've been too passive. At half-time, he had a big team talk. Everyone gave him credit. The next game, oh, they're not doing it again. So your messaging isn't getting through. So if you keep saying that these guys are, I'm giving them all the platform to go and be aggressive, be front-footed, and they're not doing it, well, now you have a decision to make, don't you? You either got to change the players or you've got to change your message. And he's in this weird place at the moment where he's saying, I have no regrets. You have no regrets when you've lost. Everyone has a regret when you've lost. If you left your wallet, you'd be frustrated, wouldn't you? Because you're like, should have took an extra minute, checked out everything. That's a regret in life. I think he's just got into this weird place now where he's so egotistical, so defiant, which has made him great, but it's also now making him come across as unrelatable. And that's where I think a lot of the English fans now are saying, you don't think you did anything wrong. You don't think you dropped off too early. You don't think you could have made a tactical decision. Because remember, it was 9 minutes from when we scored to the hydration break. In that time, Argentina had a save and hit the post. So it was already happening. So in that hydration break, you didn't make any tactical tweak. You actually did. You went more defensive. So everything he's saying versus what he did, that's why I say it feels like I'm being lied to. Because what you were saying was, we're going to be front-footed, we're going to be aggressive. What I seen and what happened was the opposite. Defensive, 5 at the back, hoping that Dan Burke would get you out of trouble again. And ultimately, another point that's not being spoken about, Ruben Amorim was killed for this. Remember when he started sticking Harry Maguire up front? That's not a tactic. That doesn't know what he's doing. But now we've got a top-class coach, a world-class coach. What was our tactic towards the end? Stick Dan Burke up front. I mean, why is it different?
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. And I think also it's difficult for him to, especially in a press conference setting like that, where the world's media is listening to him and the fans are listening to him, he can't accept too much criticism and weakness.
Why not?
Why have I said that?
Yeah.
Why not?
To me, it's about, you can say, I made the right decisions, I trusted my process in that moment, but very clearly it didn't work. Whatever plan that you had, there is no plan that a manager can have that results in completing 2 passes in 20 minutes. It just cannot happen. Even if you want to defend, you have to have some kind of idea of how we get out. And one of the things actually Tuchel has gotten a fair bit of credit for throughout this World Cup is sort of the, let's plan for some eventualities. We're down to 10 men against Mexico. I brought Dan Burn to go and win some headers. You would have planned at some point in the tournament to have a lead late stage in a big knockout round match. What is our plan at that point? It seemed like they had none. So I think as a coach, and you sort of understand, I get what you're saying. You don't want to make the headline, I screwed up. Because then if you say, I screwed up, that's the first thing that everyone talks about. It's the takeout, and I appreciate
he's
that.
Writing his own, I don't know what it's called here, but back home a P45, which is basically writing his own sacking notice, basically, because he knows there's a conversation
but
about his
everyone
future.
with eyes saw that something went wrong. That couldn't have been the plan.
Can I push back on one thing you said there? So you said planning for if we go down to 10 men. That wasn't the case. We went down to 10 men. He then put 5 at the back. It worked. So then guess what happened against Norway? We went to 5 at the back again, midway through the game. Guess what happened against Argentina? We went to 5 at the back. Again, respectfully, because he has been a top coach. But you can't tell me that the tactical changes that he's made are actually working. The credit he got for Croatia, what did he do? He took a like-for-like player off. He took Gordon off, put Rashford off. He took Madueke on, put Saka on. These are like-for-like players. So if plan A doesn't work, let's do plan A again. He had to go to a 5 at the back because Kwanzaa got sent off. So it forced him to make that change. That worked. So guess what we're going to do now? Do that again. So it can't be these tactical tweaks because all he's going is that worked, do it again. The tactical tweak is understanding 9 minutes after the goal in the hydration break. We're too deep, and he's been told he was going to do brave calls. A brave call is take Harry Kane off, put somebody who can run the channels in behind and say, right, we're going to be up the pitch now. We're going to be more aggressive. In fact, he went the opposite way, and he doesn't want any critique on it, and that's the problem I have.
How much of this is an England problem at major tournaments? We get into these positions and end up finding a way to lose the game, or a Thomas Tuchel problem, Lahoud, or is it somewhere in the middle?
Look, I think it's somewhere in the middle, but I think this, and Woody, I know you're going to disagree with me on this, but Thomas Tuchel deserves a lion's share of the blame with what happened with England and Argentina. Troy, because of everything you said, but
look at this graphic. This is what we always do.
Yeah,
for 30 years.
This is England.
For 30 years.
Yeah, but this was supposed to be different with Tuchel, right? And you are in the driver's seat for a reason, because I actually thought the way they came out in the first 15 minutes of the second half was the right way to do it, to be front foot on the counter. The big thing for me, when I look at the roster, the squad that he put together, why did you bring Ollie Watkins? To sit the bench? Ollie Watkins is in this team, or should be in the team, and he was red hot to finish the season. He runs the channels. He holds the ball up. You may not like him for some of the deficiency of consistency and goal scoring, but he is the one player. If Harry Kane is not being useful, why don't you put him in the game? Ollie Watkins has played 6 minutes this World Cup. 6 minutes. You chose to bring him in. It's on the manager
what does it say
to pick some of the players to make the difference.
What does it say now for them playing Ivan Toney over him today?
Oh, sends a shocking message to Ollie Watkins that you're not part of my plans.
Yeah. So that's another piece to this for Tuchel as well. He's left Palmer, Foden, Gibbs White, Harry Maguire, Lewis Hall, Luke Shaw,
Adam Wharton.
Now you've got Ollie Watkins. These players, Kobe Mainoo. These players are all looking at him now and go, well, I'm not, what's the point? I'm not part of your plans. And that it does have a lasting effect. And look, I think when you look at those things, 4 of those of the 8 you just showed there, 4 of those were penalty kicks. They can go either way, right? And then 4 of those were losses by 1 goal. In all of those games, obviously there's moments and all of that stuff, but I would argue again, we haven't been brave. And there's a big thing about bravery at the moment. People think bravery is like throwing your body in front of the ball. That's just standard. Bravery is what Lionel Messi did the other day. When it's 1-0 down, he says, give me the ball.
Yeah.
And he makes mistakes. Don't worry, give me again. That's bravery. Being the person that goes, whether we win, lose or draw, I'm going to be the person. I'm going to be the man for this moment. And then what happened with the Argentina players was Lautaro Martinez did the same. So did DePaul, so did Enzo, so did McAllister. When they went 1-0 down, 5 or 6 of their players went, don't worry, we're going forward.
I think what you're saying as well is basically bravery in the England context in that game was rather than score a goal and try and win 1-0, it was score a goal and try and score another one. Basically brave enough to continue to take the game to Argentina.
Gave you the biggest nugget. 2 passes in 20 minutes. Yeah. 2 passes in 20 minutes. Bravery is not about going to score, because when the Spanish scored the first goal against France, what changed? Absolutely nothing. They did the same thing again. Bravery is going, we're 1-0 up, but we're going to do the same things that got us 1-0 up.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm saying. Is you've worked hard to deal with all of the nasty tactics, trying to get red cards from Argentina in the first half. You've come through that unscathed. It was 0-0 at half-time. I think that was a big box ticked in the first half. You've then done what you're trying to do at the start of the second half, scored the goal, and you've got this great team fearing you. Why would you not just
let me ask anybody on this point. Let me ask a question for any of you guys, because I'm talking way too much. I appreciate that. But what game or what half or what 20 minutes did our midfield dominate a game?
DR Congo.
Dominated a game?
DR Congo. 20 minutes in the second half, DR Congo.
Is that when DR Congo went and gave us the ball?
You still dominated DR Congo.
But I
wholeheartedly disagree with you, but no problem.
We're also talking about the levels.
You can disagree, DR Congo. That is one game.
So in a big game, DR Congo were a good team. We would appreciate they're a good team. We dominated for that period of game. So in 7 games, we dominated once. We've got 2 players in midfield who are worth a combined £210 million. Or that'd be about $250 million out here. That would be. That's good enough. Half a game against DR Congo. That's good enough. No, in the big games, for the big price tags that these players demand, you've got to shut up and go, I'll have the ball in the tight area. If you're a Harry Kane, I'll stay up the pitch because that's your job. Put the ball into me, I'll win fouls. What Harry Kane normally does, takes it there and falls on the ball. But if you actually, we had the heat map on it. Harry Kane, after the second goal, if you saw his heat map on his own, he looks like he's Dan Burn. He's playing on the edge of the 18-yard box on the left-hand side. I think if I did it with no name, you'd go, oh, that's Dan Burn. You go, oh, actually, no, that's Harry Kane. I want
to flip this to you, Adam, because we had this conversation for Scoreline. And how does it make you feel, as an Englishman, hearing Thomas Tuchel point out to the DNA?
Well, I think the frustration, and I'm sure Troy will speak to this as well, because we're about the same age, is we're getting to, and we saw it on that graphic, England keep getting to these points in World Cups and Euros and major competitions. And it's not like we get to that semi-final stage or the final and lose 5-0. You can take that. I'd almost be happier if it was like that, because then it's, OK, these teams are just a level above us. We can't beat the Argentinas, the Brazils, the Frances, the Spains. But it's that we're getting so close and we keep losing by 1 goal or going to penalties. It's like, surely at some point you make that
especially with a lead. You have a lead in the game. And by the way, the lion's share...
You're doing everything but win.
The lion's share of those leads are acquired within the first 10 minutes of the game. So there's the big locker room speech. We all get each other fired up. We come flying out of the traps to go 1-0 up. And then my perception of it is I think that it's a team that feels pressure. Pressure even more so than any other team. And I think that pressure then leads, rather than saying what you're saying with Argentina, Argentina feels pressure at 2-0 down against Egypt. You then rise above it and say, we are going to win. I just don't think that the English have that mentality.
No, I think as well they're victims of their own noise. Because what they keep doing before every tournament, and I've done this the last 6 tournaments, that we're together, more harmonious. Every time we're more together than the last time. Every time. So if you're so together, surely you should look at your teammates and go, hey, we're going to keep doing what we're doing. We're together. So I can say, if we have an understanding, I can be as harsh to you as you can be to me. Because we're together, because it's an end goal. This team keeps telling us PRBS. The manager's telling us PRBS. FA, who get away with murder, by the way, because, again, they made half of this problem. Thomas Tuchel, we could be in a position now talking about he's out of contract in a few days. In February of this year, they gave him an extension to 28 because Man United had a little look at him. So they already set their stall out, you're going to get to the end of the World Cup. Then they panicked. Then they've given him another 2 years. Now they're in a position like, you can't sack him now because that looks like you don't know what you're doing. So the FA are to blame, Tuchel's to blame, and the players are to blame for not being able to handle this pressure. And ultimately, so are the media. Because every time they play poorly and get through, we brush it under the carpet. Clearly not me, that's why I get so much stick. But we lose, we win, doesn't matter, it's all about winning. We lose, they sack a ball, they're terrible. Like, you be consistent. And if you are consistent, you'll ultimately win in the end.
Yeah, it's an interesting debate. It's going to run and run over the next days, weeks and months. Time for a short break here on Golazo Matchday 48 Nations. We'll focus on Didier Deschamps and his future next.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me.
Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events.
It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days. But the entire nation is hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion!
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
If I look crazy, it's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in two worlds.
There are others. But they're not like us. We need to get out of here now. Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And relive the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Tell me, can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
I lost my dad in my camp.
What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money.
What's the plan here?
Gonna blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
Welcome back to Golazo Matchday 48 Nations. This is the final game of Didier Deschamps' tenure as France head coach. He's been in charge for over 14 years. As you can see there, won the World Cup in 2018, Nations League in 2021 as well. Also reached further finals at the Euros and the last World Cup in Qatar. So we're talking about the legacy that he leaves as France head coach. So I thought play a bit of a game. Each of you give one word to describe his tenure as France head coach. So I'll start with you.
Don't come to me first.
You're the wordsmith on this deck.
No, don't come to me first, because I actually have a less than favorable view. I guess.
Oh, that's fine.
No, okay. Ooh. I'll say underachieving.
Okay.
Underachieving.
Wow. Legendary.
Okay.
Amazing.
Right.
Underachieving.
Okay, so we've got two camps forming here.
Underachieving.
We'll come to the underachieving.
After your bracket, I will.
We'll come to the underachieving camp.
Yeah.
So far, you're clearly holding him to a very high standard.
Yeah, no, of course. And I think you go back to, let's say, Euro 2016, you look at that team, I don't think, they lost to Portugal in the final. It was a very good team, but I think he did incredibly well to get that team to the final. I just look at the group of players that they've had over the last 2 World Cups and the 2 Euros, and I think as well, the manner in which that they have lost the games in those tournaments, where against Spain they were roundly outplayed in this final, and they were roundly outplayed in the Euro semifinal as well. I thought they were roundly outplayed against Argentina. I know the game went to penalties and it was close, but for 75 minutes they got their heads bashed in. So I think there, for me, is an amount of, when you look at Spain and the way that they consistently deliver upon an identity, I don't think Deschamps believes an identity with this group, nor do I think he ever really got them to play the free-flowing, attacking football that I think that they were capable of. And I appreciate it's kind of ridiculous to say because it's an all-star team. And in theory, they could score 6 or 7 in every game. But I just never really felt like he got some things right. And certainly the number one thing he had to get right when he took over the job was to establish a calmness in the camp, because it was a chaotic team that had all sorts of off-the-field issues, and he figured that part out. But I still think I leave with France feeling like they could have played a little bit of better football and achieved a little bit more.
Look, I see some of that, but when you're the all-time leader in appearances as a coach for the World Cup, the all-time wins leader in knockout round for the World Cup, you delivered 2 stars for Le Bleu. As a player and as a manager, you're an icon. No manager in the world has been able to get Kylian Mbappe to lock in like Didier Deschamps. He's unearthed something that Jose Mourinho, he'll definitely be trying to pick his brain on how do you get the best out of Mbappe to win another title. There's something special about him, and the word that I really think of, he's a motivator. To take a Paul Pogba that was struggling in Manchester United, and a Paul Pogba that was a big reason why they won the World Cup in 2018, that looked imperious on a pitch, to take an Antoine Griezmann that became a world-class talent, that became one of France's best players, one of the best players of a French generation, to take Olivier Giroud, who was getting booed before Euro 2016, and make him your lead striker, and it didn't lead to a trophy. But he just salvaged Giroud's career with Le Bleu, and he became the all-time leading goal scorer. So I think we need to put some respect to his name. And I agree with you. In an alternate universe, they're in the World Cup final. And when you have talent, yes, you should get there. But the best team doesn't always win in football. The best team doesn't always win the World Cup. Or else France would have 3 stars right now, including this one at the World Cup. So he is underappreciated by, I think, French football fans, certain sectors of them. But for me, I appreciate everything he's done. He's a winner, and he'll be someone we look back on thinking, wow, he's done a lot for French football and the game as a whole.
Could he have done better?
Yeah, you could always do better, right? There'll be a game, a moment. He'd absolutely want that Spain game back. Could he have done better in that? Yeah, but also I think his biggest thing has been able to carve out that this is Kylian Mbappe's team. All of the stars that they've got, he's been one of the few. Because look at Real Madrid, for example, perfect comparison. A massive problem of last year is whose team is it? Is it Mbappe's? Is it Vidi's? Is it Jude's? And they ultimately can't get along, and they go through a couple of managers, and now they're all over the place. He's been able to go, right, this is your team, but here's a few things that I need from you. And he's kind of got into a negotiation, and that's ultimately what you do as a manager. Because not everybody, especially superstars like that, are going to fall in line, turn up on time, do whatever. It's like, hey, I'm going to need this from you, but if you give me that, I'll give you this team. And I think he's been very, very good. I think there's a couple of areas of weakness. Like let's be totally frank. Deeney for Aston Villa is not a starting left back for France. Should not be in any universe. Great player, good kid, but when you talk about the superstars that they have, they shouldn't be having that type of player at left back for what they've got. Look at the goalkeeper. Shouldn't have that type of goalkeeper for the players that they've got. So there's certain elements where he's had to go, okay, how do I figure out a framework that gives the best for those front four? And it sounds like I'm getting at these two, but I'm just talking in general. When we talk about the level of superstar that they have in every area of the pitch, these two are clear weaknesses to that. And then the other part to it is as well, you'll only appreciate him if Zidane doesn't do well next. And that's the problem with everything. Like Carlo Ancelotti before this World Cup, oh, he's great. Brazil are going to be fantastic for it. Brazil don't do well. Well, is Carlo Ancelotti any good? Yeah. It's just that's how quick people change.
And it also comes down to 1-game margins. Yeah. Either you win the World Cup semi-final or you don't, and you're a failure.
But you also spoke about how people have like tactical awareness and all this. He's from a different era, which is genuinely about how do I get the best players playing the best and give them a framework and basically stop them from killing each other. That's what Ancelotti did at Real Madrid. That's what Zidane did at Real Madrid. Jose's done it to a point, and he's started to do it again now. These older managers more worry about the personal relationships and managing upstairs and keeping the noise as quiet as possible, as opposed to these new ones who are like, all right, tactically we're going to do this. If you put Pep Guardiola in there, that place would be carnage. Because he's the main man.
Yeah.
So everything else underneath him falls under that. So I just think if Pep was in that at France, I don't think he could do as good a job as this man has done, just because he manages ego.
I remember
so well.
speaking to. It's interesting you made that point. And I remember speaking to a French football journalist who'd followed his career from a player and all the way through as a manager. Because I think one of the criticisms when you watch Deschamps compare him to Pep and a lot of the younger managers is he does often sits there and doesn't really do anything. He's not as animated as these modern managers. And he was saying that's what he's always done. He's a guy who likes to watch a game develop, get to the end or get to half-time, and then he speaks to his players. He's not someone who's going to be on the touchline all the time, up and yelling and jumping up and down like we see with the younger managers. And that's used as a reason to criticism Deschamps. Oh, why is he not? Why is he not up and down? Why is he not running up the touchline? Well, no, this is just how he's always gone about it. He's a tactician, and as you said, he's much more about when do I give this message to my players? When do I choose to speak to them? I thought it was a really interesting point. Just really, really quickly. How do we think Zidane is going to do? Do you think he's going to do better than Deschamps if he gets as long, or worse? It's better or worse? We'll play that game.
It's really hard. I'll say better.
Okay.
I'll say better.
I'll say better than this World Cup.
That wasn't the question. I didn't know Nigel was here. I'll go worse.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's such a high bar.
Yeah, he has set a very high bar. It'll be interesting to see how they get on in his final game against England today. Time for a short break here on Golazo Matchday 48 Nations. Plenty more coming up for you in a couple of minutes.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me.
Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events.
It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days. But the entire nation is hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion.
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
If I look crazy, it's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in two worlds.
There are others. But they're not like us. We need to get out of here now. Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And relive the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Tell me, can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
I lost my dad and my aunt.
What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money.
What's the plan here?
Gonna blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
Back to Golazo Matchday 48 Nations. Guess what? Less than a month to go until the league phase draw for next season's Champions League. Qualifying has, of course, already begun. PSG hoping to join Real Madrid as the only club that have won the Champions League 3 times in a row. Don't forget, first games of the league phase, as you can see there, September the 8th. And the final is in Madrid on June the 5th. Every game, as always, live across our network. Time for a short break here on Golazo Matchday 48 Nations. We've got plenty more for you. Coming up next, we'll preview Sunday's World Cup final in a couple of minutes.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me.
Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events.
It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days. But the entire nation is hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion.
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
I look crazy. It's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in 2 worlds.
There are others. But they're not like us. We need to get out of here now. Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And relive the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Tell me, can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
I lost my dad and my aunt.
What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money.
What's the plan here?
Gonna blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
Welcome back to Golazo Matchday 48 Nations. It's all come down to this, the 2026 FIFA World Cup final between Spain and Argentina. Who will lift the famous trophy once again? Spain have won it once before, back in 2010. Argentina hoping to repeat, having lifted it the last time in Qatar. Join us Sunday as the whole crew will be at Pig Beach BBQ in Astoria, Queens, for the final. Morning Footy will be there to start the day at 11 to get you pumped up and ready. Then the Matchday gang will step in and pull the curtain closed on the tournament. But they aren't the only ones. Marco Messina and Claudio Pagan will be out in NYC joining the fans. Make sure to join us on Sunday at Pig Beach BBQ as the Golazo Network goes live for the final. Now, Nico Cantor is already in the city, spent the day at Fanatics Fest. Let's see who he's caught up with.
On the eve of the World Cup final here in New York City, it feels like the world has descended onto Javits Center at this Fanatics Fest where fans from all around New York City, in fact all around the planet, have gathered here to see the sights and sounds of what New York City has to offer. Multiple activations from so many brands from around this country that are feeling the passion for the World Cup. And we're going to talk to some fans and see what the pulse is before the final between Spain and Argentina.
I mean, this is the greatest sports country in the world, and it's the greatest football, soccer country in the world.
It's crazy. I mean, to be born and raised in New York and see how far the game's come here in the States, it's unbelievable. But at the same time, MetLife is not the greatest stadium, but it's going to be an unbelievable atmosphere, I think.
I think because we have Messi and because he's the best player in the world and he plays in the league, in MLS, and he plays in this great country, what I think it's going to do is it's going to bring more eyes because he's done so well on the biggest stage, and now he's coming back in a week. He's going to play for Inter Miami in some random city in America, so I think it's just going to bring more eyes to the league.
My favorite sport, soccer. I grew up playing it since I was 5, so getting to witness in the United States is just amazing to see.
What I do know is it's going to be an interesting game, and that game will not be finished or determined until the referee says so. That's what we've known or learned from Argentina this World Cup. And of course, Spain, they just keep playing, regardless of the score. Even if they're 4-0 up, they just do the same.
What do you feel for the World Cup final? Who's going to win between Spain and Argentina?
Argentina. Messi all day. Let's go. Let's go.
Argentina. Messi. You just got to admit that Argentina has it in them to upset us or claim another title.
Argentina.
Why?
Because if we had played Spain, if we had beaten Belgium and gotten to Spain in the quarterfinal, with or without Balogun, we would have killed them. It wouldn't.
Confident, huh?
Yeah, it would have been.
Why?
Because we have Pochettino, we have Weston McKennie, Tim Ream, Matt Freese. I mean, that team is just the dream team.
I'm assuming Nico knew he was talking to Peter Schmeichel there, not just some random fan in a baseball hat.
Was that one of Charlie Davis' kids?
Why has he got such big hands? Oh, wait, it's Peter Schmeichel. Let's have a look at the game. Let's have a look at the lineups for this one. Argentina versus Spain. It's going to be really, really entertaining. Quite hard to pick, Troy. Is there a way that either of these teams are going to look at the starting lineup of the other team and think this is a chance for us to get at them?
I think that'll be more Spain than Argentina. Argentina will do what they did. I think this is the formation 4-4-2, but if you saw what they did against England, they tweaked it. They put Messi as the 1 in the first half and then went to a 4-5 with Alvarez on the left-hand side and worked really hard without the ball to just stay within the game. I do think that will kind of be the game plan as well, because Spain, as just alluded to by Peter, will keep the ball, keep passing, loads of short passes, try to suck you into their side of the pitch, and then they want to kill you through the other side. I can see Nico Williams coming in at the top left though. I think he's been at that position where he's played a little bit, and now in the biggest game, if they get Nico Williams in, this completely changes the Spanish outlay, because it's all coming down the right-hand side with Yamal. And it's kind of made him have a poor tournament because everyone knows it's coming to that right-hand side. So I think if Nico Williams comes in, I think that puts the game 75% into Spain winning and 25 into Argentina.
Yeah, it's incredible that we're looking at this Spanish side, and if it was 2 seasons ago or 2 years ago, we'd be looking at the front line, and the front line is definitely where I want to focus. Before I get to that, how incredible has this back line been? It's just another level. I want to highlight the 2 fullbacks especially, where their ability, even without Nico Williams, I think Marc Cucurella, this is some of the best football I've seen him play in a long, long time. A different Marc Cucurella that we haven't seen at Chelsea, and really showing that he's worth the price of admission for Real Madrid. And also Pedro Porro. The work rate of the 2 fullbacks for Spain, they will have to have the game of their lives, because when they go forward, Troy and Woody, you have to be aware that number 10 for Argentina is walking, he's waiting, he's doing this, and he's going to be drifting in wide spaces, especially on the right for Cucurella. He has to be mindful of his positioning.
Witty, is it too simplistic, though, that if Spain keep Messi quiet, then they win the game?
I do think that is too simplistic. I think for as much as we talked about Messi in the aftermath of that game, remember Rodrigo de Paul came off the bench on that right-hand side for Simeone, put in an incredible cross that probably should have resulted in a goal. I thought actually McAllister had a decent game, Alvarez had a decent game, and so Fernandez. So this is a good team. The one thing, though, is always about having control of the game, and what does it look like for Argentina, because they haven't started matches very well. All of their goals have basically come in the final 15 minutes of games, so they have to put themselves in with a chance and then arrest control of the game at that point. But it is about sort of where Messi ends up on the field. If, as you say, Troy, he goes out to that right-hand side and gets in behind Baena and makes life difficult for Cucurella, how much does that limit what Spain can do going forward? So it's just kind of a fascinating battle, but ultimately it comes down to what does Spain do when they have the ball to control the game, and what can Argentina do to counter it?
Mm-hmm. Troy, Witty makes a great point there. I think it's 11 goals that Argentina has scored at this World Cup after the 78th minute. Are Spain the team that are going to be able to bury them before we even get to that point? Because they are playing a risky game, Argentina, having to come back from behind.
Yeah, but the different thing with Spain is they play a lot of passes. They're not trying to kill you in the first 2-3 minutes, and they're not very direct. It's play through the lines, it's pass, patience, and they get further up the pitch again. Look, you can see the possession stats there. But the passes in the attacking third is because once they get into that final third, they're not just going down the right-hand side crossing it. They go to the right, they work it back, they come to the left, they look through the middle, it doesn't work. They keep moving the ball around. That's why all the possession on that left-hand side has been so high for them. The one thing that they do really well, which I think Argentina will struggle with, is when Spain lose the ball, their counter press, their second and third press is so good. And I think if you look just back to the England game with Argentina, England didn't press great, and they still got the ball back very early in the first half because Argentina kind of got a little bit stuck in transition of, should we go long into Messi? And actually he doesn't like that, so let's try and work through. And then once they got through the phases, they had to stop then to allow the rest of the team to come back up. So I before this game and after they beat England, I was like 60-40 in Spain's favour because they've got Messi and he's so great. As it's developed, I just can't see how Spain lose this game. The players they got off the bench, the way that they've just been dominating the ball, giving away one goal. Argentina's been great, the story's been great, but it just feels like this is meant for Spain.
Lahoud, Spain are a good example of a real team. All of them contribute, but is there one player that you can pick out who, if he has a good game, then Spain are going to more likely.
There's only one answer to this.
Yeah, no, it's not that guy. It's not just Lamine Yamal.
No,
it's not just Lamine Yamal. It's Dani Olmo for me. Dani Olmo is a player, Troy, and I know you're going to roll your eyes.
You're saying Rodri, right?
You can roll your eyes all you want. Rodri, I'm thinking outside the box.
Okay.
I'm thinking outside the box with this, right? Of course you're going to say
he took up great positions against France. He was in wonderful areas.
Dani Olmo was a player alongside Fabian Ruiz and Rodri that really impacted the game. The longer the game goes on, if it's 0-0, just looking between the lines between Couto Romero, who's aggressive stepping out, Lisandro Martinez, aggressive stepping out. We saw it against France. Then the gaps are going to open up for Lamine. He is the driving force in the final third and half spaces that's going to get the ball from Rodri.
The reason I would say Rodri is because the way that the Spanish team has changed. So at the start of the tournament, it was two. It was him, it was Pedri. They were getting in each other's way, but Rodri wasn't in a position to be physically up to speed to it. After game 4, the manager went, hey, Pedri, you're great, but I got the Ballon d'Or guy, and he's fit, and he's ready. Go and sit on the bench. And he now just dictates the play. If they play quick, it's because he's playing 1 and 2 touch. If it needs to slow down, he's playing 3 and 4. It all goes through Rodri, and he's back to the player he was before that injury.
Would you agree with it?
Yeah, I think in terms of what we've seen so far in this tournament, the one way, and we're talking about this idea of if Spain can elevate to a level where they put the game to bed early, the only way for me that they elevate to that next level is if Yamal delivers an 8 out of 10, a 9 out of 10 performance, because he's been okay. I thought he was decent in the last game against France, but he is their ceiling. I think their floor is incredibly high. We know what their floor is, but Yamal for me represents their ceiling, where if he delivers a performance that is, he's taken on his fullback and is making, and by the way, those fullbacks are not very good. Tagliafico, Molina. If he has Tagliafico for lunch and all of a sudden 2 and 3 are going towards him, that for me gets the level of Spain can score 3 or 4 in this game, because Argentina have been vulnerable, their fullbacks are vulnerable, and Yamal can raise it to another level.
And I think from the neutral perspective, we all want to see Messi at his best and Yamal at his best. That's going to create the best spectacle. Okay, time for a short break here on Golazo Matchday, 48 nations. We've got plenty more coming up for you in a couple of minutes.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me. Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events. It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days, but the entire nation is hunting you down.
The
grand prize, $1 billion.
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this